It was a special day when this object was first discovered. We have been waiting for the discovery of an interstellar object for decades, basically. This object is simply a piece of another solar system that was expelled, and it has been traveling through interstellar space for hundreds of millions of years, billions of years, we don't know.
Oh, when I first heard about this interstellar object, it was very exciting just from a scientific point of view that finally there's been an actual observation of such an object.
A number of our survey projects and other observatories immediately turned their telescopes to take observations of this object. From the observations we have so far, it looks like it's a very elongated object, maybe about a quarter mile in length.
We think this object, 2017 U1, is very long, perhaps 400 meters or so long, and very narrow, skinny, perhaps maybe 40 meters or so in the other dimensions. That's a very unusual shape. We don't see that in our solar system. None of the asteroids in our solar system look like that. So it's very puzzling how it could have obtained this shape.
We also see that it's very reddish in color, which indicates that it's been possibly in space a long time and irradiated by not only the light from our sun, but other suns as well.
There's still quite a bit to learn about this interstellar object and limited time because it's on its way out of the solar system.
It's fading very fast. It's a relatively small object, so it's very dim. But we are continuing to try to use NASA assets like the Hubble Space Telescope and Spitzer to take observations to determine more about its size and composition.
NASA's Planetary Defense Coordination Office has a near-Earth object observations program which funds efforts that survey the skies to look for near-Earth asteroids and to calculate their orbits and their trajectories and to determine if any of them might pose a hazard to Earth. And as part of doing that, some amazing discoveries can happen, and the discovery of this interstellar object was one of them.
As our observational capabilities improve, Pan-STARRS has been getting better, other surveys have been getting better. There are a new generation surveys that will come online. We will be detecting more of these in the future.
Harvard professor believes asteroid was actually old alien tech. An Israeli-American theoretical physicist and professor at Harvard University. Not only was Oumuamua the first interstellar object ever found within Earth's solar system, but its trajectory indicated its movement was not contingent upon the sun's gravitational pull. In fact, Oumuamua appeared to be driven by a force other than our central stars, even accelerating away from the sun at one point. Stating additionally, the object had a cigar-like shape never before seen in other asteroids or comets, and was observed by some to possibly be comprised of metal. All these factors, according to Business Insider, led Loeb to come to the conclusion that Oumuamua wasn't an oddly shaped asteroid, but alien junk. Now in this video, we are going to take it one step further, as maybe it was the alien itself, and not just junk. And I'll explain to you why.
It's like a two-dimensional plane, since this really is just a surface. See, this is just like the surface of the Earth. Of course, we know the global structure of Earth, but to something small like us standing on that surface, it does look flat and two-dimensional. Because of this, the surface of the Earth is also a two-dimensional manifold, as is the Klein bottle, a torus, and plenty more. Locally, they appear to be two-dimensional, but they all curve or are embedded in higher dimensions. Then when you get to relativity, space-time, and the curvature of the universe, you move into those 3- and 4-dimensional manifolds, but that's beyond this video. Let's now get into how to think about a fourth spatial dimension though, and to do that we should first imagine a two-dimensional object living in flatland that can only see along this completely flat surface. If a three-dimensional sphere entered that world, all the flat creature would see is the two-dimensional cross-section or a circle. If the sphere said, hey, I'm a three-dimensional object, and the flatlander said, prove it, move in this third dimension you speak of, all they'd see is that cross-section gets smaller. And the same goes for us. I mean, if there was some two-dimensional world living on this piece of paper, I could see everything that's going on and there's nothing they could do to hide from me. Then if I wanted to at any point I could enter their world, but all they would see is the two-dimensional cross-section of my fingers in this case. And this is exactly how it'd be for a four-dimensional object visiting us. They could see our three-dimensional world, and there's nothing we could do to hide from them. They can then enter at any point, and we would see a three-dimensional cross-section of that object. So if it was a four-dimensional sphere, for example, we would see a 3D sphere just appear out of nowhere. It would get bigger and bigger, then smaller and smaller, and eventually disappear. See, our brains aren't really made to understand how that object is moving through that higher dimension. But as you can see, we can still draw comparisons and do the mathematical analysis, even if we don't have the geometric intuition to back it up.
Oh my God, stop it. Oh no, no!